2, 1.
Good morning, everybody. I cannot believe that it is Monday.
What
happened to the weekend,
like
Alicia? It feels like a Monday?
It flew by, which is why today definitely feels like a Monday.
Yeah, it does feel like a Monday a little bit here, but welcome to KSAT News Now. We are streaming, podcasting, doing everything, so there are many ways that you can find us. Thanks for being with us on this Monday morning.
So we have a lot going on. I did want to start a little off script here with some pop culture breaking news, and that's that Rihanna is pregnant. Did you hear about that? Did you see it on social media?
I did not. What is up?
You heard it here first.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have all Rihanna alerts set to my phone and I just cannot.
Well, I guess you missed this one because Rihanna is pregnant and she is pregnant. The father of the child is ASAP Rocky. He's a rapper, and they've been dating.
Yeah, interesting. Did not know that. All right, congratulations to Rihanna there.
And then today also we have news, you guys. We're talking about free N95 masks in San Antonio. They have finally arrived. Maybe you've already gotten your hands on some, but there's also a battle brewing with Spotify and Joe Rogan.
Yeah, very interesting story there. Plus the Super Bowl matchup is set and it has a local connection. Really excited to talk about this guy coming up, but and we also have Stick Figure Sports.
Which
I'm pumped. I know you're excited about that.
Always. If you're listening to us, you have to watch us one day so you can see these Stick Figure sports. They are definitely worth it. My goodness, I can't talk. It's Monday.
It is definitely Monday. So let's get to some of this news, Alicia, to start off our day. This is again, we're gonna be talking about COVID here, and people who need to get tested for COVID-19 have a new location to do so.
Yeah, Community Labs, they opened a new COVID-19 public testing site this week, and you can expect a quicker turnaround time for results because we know that was the big issue. People were finally able to get in line, but the turnaround time, and it affects your job, it affects school, everything.
Definitely, because you're kind of left in limbo there. So it's going to be at Divine Providence Catholic Church, and that's at 5667 Old Pearsall Road, and that is on the southwest side of the city.
No, write this down. It's open today through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and officials with Community Labs say people will get their results in under 48 hours and appointments are not required. So you can walk up and get tested, but obviously know that there may be a line.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we've seen those lines, but at least with, like you said, with this quicker turnaround, we should be good to go there. But staying on this subject, Alicia, we were talking about those free N95 masks, and they are officially now showing up in several parts of San Antonio.
Several stores and pharmacies around town are offering them free of charge, but know that supplies are definitely limited.
And some of those locations include H-E-B, CVS, Walgreens, I think Walmart and Costco are also on there. And just keep this in mind, you're limited to 3 per person, but again, can't reiterate enough that they are free.
And this comes, we've talked about it because of the Omicron surge, experts saying that the N95 masks are definitely better to protect you from Omicron in comparison to cloth mask or the surgical masks. So I still have not made my way to any of the pharmacies, but I hope to do so this week.
So last week, one of our photojournalists, Luis Cienfuegos, he's always in the mix with stuff.
Yeah, he knows everything.
He like rolled up to us on Friday. He was like, "Hey, I got my mask." So he was like, "It wasn't that hard to get," and he was showing it off and stuff. So apparently, it's not too difficult of a process if you could find them. So just keep in mind that they are continuing to come in over the next few weeks.
And a really cool article that we have on KSAT.com right now is what to do. Can you reuse them? These N95 masks are designed to only be used once. We know they're being given in limited amounts. A lot of people can't get their hands on them. So if you want to know more of what to do, how to reuse them safely, we have a great article right now on KSAT.com.
Yeah, a lot of information there. Okay, so moving on here, making the rounds across social media this morning, Alicia, we're talking about this Spotify story, this hashtag delete Spotify. It's gone viral and it all stems from the comedian Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, if you're not in the loop on what's been going on, let's fill you in. The artist Neil Young said he had enough of Rogan and wanted his music pulled Neil Young's, his own music, pulled from the platform because he claims that Rogan's podcast is misleading and sharing inaccurate claims about vaccines and the COVID-19 virus.
Mm-hmm. Well, now Spotify has added a content advisory to any podcast episode that deals with COVID-19. The advisory leads listeners to a site with links and trusted resources, but is that enough?
And that's the big question there. Yeah. Is that going to help with the misinformation being spread? Well, Joe Rogan did react on a video and said he'd do his best to balance views, and I believe We do have a video from him that he posted his reaction to all this controversy on Instagram. Let's take a listen.
Do I get things wrong? Absolutely, I get things wrong, but I try to correct them. Whenever I get something wrong, I try to correct it because I'm interested in telling the truth. I'm interested in finding out what the truth is. And I'm interested in having interesting conversations with people that have differing opinions. I'm not interested in only talking to people that have one perspective.
So Neil Young, his music was pulled from Spotify. Other musicians have definitely followed his lead already, but also podcasters. Researcher Brene Brown, she tweeted over the weekend that she's not going to be releasing any of her new episodes of her Spotify exclusive podcasts, and those are Unlocking Us and Dare to Lead. And she's not doing that until further notice.
Yeah, and I think Spotify even had come out and said that, look, they don't want to censor anyone here. They don't want to have to, go that route when it comes to Joe Rogan's podcast, which is incredibly popular. Do you listen to it?
I have listened to several episodes. I wouldn't say that I'm a diehard fan. I do agree on listening to all sides.
Yeah.
That is part of our job here in the newsroom, or any journalist really. So I do enjoy listening to the people that he brings in. But here's the thing, after I listen, will go back and look up these individuals that he's bringing on the podcast to kind of confirm, are they who they say they are? What have they studied? But not everyone does that. And so Joe Rogan, he mentioned that it was a 10-minute video on his Instagram, and he mentioned, if I do get something wrong, I will correct it. But do people always listen to those corrections? That's the issue there, and that's what can be dangerous with this misinformation, especially when it deals with the virus, because we know it's so divided.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned there, just such a polarizing topic, but it'll be interesting to see what Spotify does here. He just signed a $100 million deal. And again, he's one of the most listened to podcasts on the entire platform. But the one thing about him is that he's very candid in these, in his podcasts. I think that's what attracts a lot of people to it. I think I've listened to one part of one of his episodes a while back, but not a big Joe Rogan listener, but we will see what happens there.
Yeah, and for sure, a lot to follow up on that one. Well, in Texas today, a big deadline for eligible voters. Today is the last day to register for the primary election, which, as you should know, is on March 1st.
Right around the corner. So this is extremely important election this year because, listen to this, 435 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives and a third of the U.S. Senate seats are up for grabs. Plus, you have a chance to vote in the Texas governor's race and elect Bexar County's first new county judge in 20 years. That's really interesting.
That's
Judge
huge.
Nelson Wolf has officially decided to retire.
Well, head over to KSAT.com for a step-by-step on how and where to register to vote. Remember, early voting begins February 14th, Valentine's Day. We all love Texas, and that's for the March 1st primary election here in the state.
Yeah, and I actually did a story on this on Friday, Alicia, and I think the one thing is you have to go ahead and turn in your application for a ballot to the Bexar County Elections Department. Turn that in person, or you can mail it. As long as it's postmarked by today, you should be able to get to your application to vote. So, yeah, voting season, election season, right around the corner.
It's always exciting, and that's the thing. That's the big thing that we want to stress, that although this isn't a presidential election year, this is still huge for Texas. This is so important. More than 400 seats up for grabs. This is a big deal, and it makes a difference, especially when you talk about our day-to-day lives here in Texas. So if you haven't registered to vote, know that today is your deadline.
Yes, definitely very important to do so. Okay, Lisa, if you spent some time on social media over the weekend, we heard about the Joe Rogan thing. That's been going all over the place, but you may have seen a bunch of buzz about an LA-based pop-up store that made a stop right here in San Antonio.
All right, well, the store is called, I debated with my mom, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable saying this because we know. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is what the store is called. Very popular. It's called Hija de tu Madre. So, which in slang, in Spanish, can be
rude.
A bit of a, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would never say that in front of my mom. Well. Bigger picture here. It's a Latina-owned store that has jewelry, coffee, mugs, planners, notebooks, and other apparel. Pretty much name it, they have it. And today is the last day that they'll actually be here in Texas, and here in San Antonio to be exact.
Yeah, they're going to be out there at Feliz Modern at that location out there on West Olmos Drive. So the owner of the pop-up shop of the store says, quote, that her whole idea here celebrates the beautiful mess that is being Latina and Latinx, end quote.
So I actually had a conversation with my mom about the name of this shop. Again, a little controversial just because of what it means.
What did Mom say?
She agreed, but we do know that these terms that we use in Spanish, they're so diverse, they're so unique. Sometimes you can't even find a translation for them. And so it's a way to connect to the roots. So I do think that that's cool.
I totally agree. Another part of their website, they say that this is basically the inspiration behind the art and the clothing is that being Latino, Latina, Hispanic is about being in a cultural crossroads.
Yep.
Yeah, so that definitely makes sense.
We definitely live that every day.
Interesting name, for sure.
Okay, one thing that I am excited to know more about, because I like the cold, but I know a lot of people, they hear cold and they like jump in their seat now.
Especially because of last year,
Absolutely.
right?
We look back and I see those pictures and I'm like, I can't believe that was a year ago here in San Antonio.
I mean, I'd be lying if I don't even feel every time we get a cold snap like, oh my gosh, like that.
What is it going to be?
It reminds you of last year. And
It makes you nervous.
It does. And the biggest thing I want to reassure everyone with is, yes, we are expecting a cold snap Thursday. This will actually be the coldest day of winter so far that we've seen. But I want to reassure everybody that it is different from last year for a couple of reasons, and we'll talk about that. But first, we've got some rain on the radar, guys.
Yeah.
It is east of San Antonio right now, but you can see that there's some rain on the radar out near Gonzales and out near Seguin as well. We'll go ahead and zoom into these areas that are getting the rain right now. It does look like it's pushing to the east of San Antonio, but we will have an opportunity to see a little bit more shower activity into the afternoon as well. And if you live east of San Antonio, east of 281 especially, you've gotten some decent rain, up to an inch in some spots, but around San Antonio it really has been pretty sparse, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch here and there, and some folks have just not seen all that much rain at all. And so for the rest of the day today, we'll carry a 40% chance for scattered showers and storms, but by the later half of the afternoon, our rain chance will be done for the day and will be pretty mild in the 60s. All right, let's get down to business, okay? Let's talk about this very cold air that's headed our way. Now, tomorrow, Tuesday, is going to be mild. We'll be in the 70s. Wednesday, during the day, it'll be quiet in San Antonio. But there will be a cold front moving through Texas, and that cold front is going to move through Wednesday night. Here's the deal. Look at these temperatures. It's going to be drastically colder out there. And some things to keep in mind is we're going to be monitoring for a light wintry mix on Thursday morning, and the biggest message I want to get across is that we're going to be cold for an extended period of time. Everyone is going to experience below freezing temperatures, and many of us will be below freezing for 18 to 36 hours. So for about half a day to about a day and a half. And we'll talk about that and what that means. But the first thing I want to talk about first is when that cold front moves through, we will have some showers and storms. This is Wednesday night as that cold front is moving through. First, it's going to be rain, and then as it gets colder and colder, this red line here is the freezing line, okay? That's the 32-degree line. Notice how by Thursday morning, that freezing line is going to be along 1604 and north. So anywhere along 1604 and north, we'll be monitoring for some freezing rain on Thursday. There's still a lot of questions, like how much will fall, if it'll fall. All of that is still big questions, but right now it does look like if you live along and north of 1604, be on alert for the possibility for some freezing rain that could cause issues on bridges and overpasses early Thursday morning. Everywhere else, though, the rain is going to be out of here before it gets below freezing. So that's why our biggest concern is 1604 and to the north. So a couple of things to plan for. These are things that are definitely going to happen that you need to plan for, okay? Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. This is Thursday and Friday, and even part of Saturday morning will be in the 30s. Wind chills are going to be in the teens in San Antonio, and we'll even have wind chills probably in the single digits in the hill country. And so plan for a hard freeze Thursday night and Friday night. These are definites that we need to plan for. What we're watching for is a light wintry mix of mainly freezing rain with some sleet on Thursday morning. And we're watching for the potential to be below freezing for more than 24 hours. So makes sense, plan for the cold, watching for the icy mix and the extended freezing temperatures. So the The thing to definitely plan for is the freeze. So freeze preparations Thursday through Saturday. Remember the 4 Ps: pets, plants, people, and pipes. So bring those pets indoors. Make sure they have a warm place to stay. Cover up or bring in sensitive vegetation. And then check on those who do not have central heating and who have older homes. That's something to keep in mind too. You'll want to insulate exposed pipes, especially if you live out in the country and if you have exposed plumbing. That often is older homes. You know, newer homes, guys, they have those pipes that expand, but the older homes do not. So insulate exposed pipes and spigots, those kinds of things. Finally, I want to just reiterate that this is not going to be a repeat of February 2021. Take, for example, the time we spent below freezing last year, 4.5 days, whereas this week we'll only spend below freezing maybe maximum 18 to 36 hours. The frozen precipitation that we dealt with last year was crippling. Ice and snow, 4 events, whereas this week we're really only going to be dealing with the possibility of a light mix Thursday morning. And then finally, last year the temperatures were just off the charts, or really below the charts. Temperatures were as low as 9 degrees with wind chills below 0, and this time around lowest will be is in the 20s with wind chills in the teens. So again, not like last year, but I will caution, don't travel to DFW Thursday because there is likely going to be more of an ice-ish situation up along I-20 on Thursday near the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So hopefully I can put people's minds at ease. You know, hopefully we won't have the panic buying situation we did a couple of weeks ago at the HEB. And you know, I'm a meteorologist, I can predict the weather, but we're going to try to get some quotes from ERCOT and CPS about the power situation too. But my gut tells me we'll be okay in that department.
And guys, this is why it's so important to download the Weather Authority app.
Absolutely,
They're
Alicia.
updating constantly. It's something that I check even before, you know, when I'm getting ready for work, to know what to expect coming into work, throughout the day, on my way back home. So again, this is something so important, but the most important thing there, I think, is don't panic and stay updated.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that you brought up the Weather Authority app, Alicia, because we can go live right from that app to your phone. So in a worst case scenario, if you don't have access to your TV, you can watch us on your phone.
Yeah, that is a great breakdown of everything that we are expected to get this week. Thank you very much, Sarah, for that information. And I know Sarah's a big Chiefs fan here, so this is it's been a tough morning for her.
You didn't hear that part, but she did a big sigh.
There you go.
Because it is now time for Stick Figure Sports. Yes, the segment that is near and dear to Alicia's heart.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. Never imitated or duplicated. Super Bowl 56. Here we go. Are you excited about this?
No, I mean, I lied.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very excited for the halftime performance.
Yes,
There
yes.
you go. Yes, that is.
The All LA showed it. The All LA performance here with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and
Eminem.
Mary J. Blige, Eminem. That's right, Kendrick Lamar. Love it. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know Kendrick Lamar
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be dope.
We got some
See,
fun hip-hop.
Eminem and Dr. Dre. Yes, I'm there.
Okay, so we have Stick Figure Sports here, Alicia. First of all, my guy here, Patrick Mahomes. I had to draw a little hair and headband. Sarah, yeah, tough loss there. But you know what? He still has all the State Farm ads, so I'm sure that we're still going to be seeing a lot of Patrick Mahomes.
They totally fell apart in the second half. Like defense, offense, they fell apart. I'm
like
coming
she's coming in. Let us have
They
it.
fell apart. Okay, so here's the thing. I think it was that last play during the first half when they were at 4-1 and the defense stopped them. They would have. At that point, you take the points.
Yes,
you kick a field goal. That's how I feel with the AFC Championship. And then Mahomes was not very Mahomesy.
I thought he struggled at the end of the game, taking the sack. He fumbled, almost gave the game away there, but
he
and
got
threw
in
the
his
interception.
head. Yeah. Well, okay, I'm womp womp.
Thank you, Sarah. This is the best Stick Figure Sports ever. Seriously. But Cincinnati wins here. I tried to draw a little Tony the Tiger. I don't know what happened. It was like halfway a little tiger, and then it looks like a stuffed bear or something.
Yeah, I don't know what. It looks like my dog ate the stuffed bear.
So we have Cincinnati, and they are taking on the Rams. So I drew there because the Rams beat the 49ers yesterday in the All-California Showdown there, the NFC Championship. And get this, they're not going to be going too far to play the Super Bowl because it's at their home stadium. So we got sunshine, palm trees, the whole deal. So Super Bowl 56. Let's go.
This morning I was listening that all the hotels are already sold out as expected in LA. tickets for the Super Bowl, I think the cheapest you could have gotten is like $1,500, and those were like nosebleeds or something like that.
Sure, I've been seeing some like as high as like 6,000, 8,000, which is probably even more than that. But yeah, someone said something about like 7,000, 8,000 for a ticket.
I'm sure there are people here in San Antonio who are going to be headed to the Super Bowl. Maybe, I don't know, you're going, but if you are, let us know. How much did you pay for those tickets? When are you headed out there?
Yeah.
What do you have planned?
Yeah, that'd be a fun little vlog to just see like what the road trip is like and the whole scene, because they apparently say that's an amazing stadium, which is
What's
like
the newest one,
It's the
correct?
newest one. It's like a $4 billion stadium. So yeah.
So the nicest one I've ever been to is the one back home, Jerry World, you know?
Okay.
So
Nice.
they say it's even better, like you can't even compare, so very
Well,
cool.
Alicia, you did mention people from our area that are going to the game, and shout out this morning to my guy right here, Judson Rockets alum Trey Flowers, who is headed to the Super Bowl. He is playing with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, very cool. Well, Trey graduated from Judson and back in 2013, signed with Cincy in the middle of the season after playing his entire NFL career with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, and he's a great dude overall, because if you guys remember, Bryce Wisdom was the young man here who passed away from cancer, but it became a big national story, and Trey was basically like his big brother.
Wow.
So he helped with the Bryce Wisdom Foundation, and he even wore cleats in honor of Bryce last season for the Seahawks, and he continues to support the heck out of the Wisdom Foundation.
He also supplied water to Karn City when water was out last February, so definitely sticking close to his roots.
Yes, yeah. He's originally from Karn City. A lot of people do not know this, but yeah, born and raised in Karn City, went to play at Judson, and that's what I'm saying. Shout out to the J-Rock fam right there, Judson Rockets.
That is so cool. I always love when we can find these ways to relate it back to home. It makes it more exciting. You get connected, and then now I want to watch the game.
Plus,
and maybe even though I did speak lowly of those uniforms, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Cincinnati fans are extremely excited. Don
Absolutely.
Cervais, who you hear at the top,
Yeah.
he's from Ohio, and he
He's
was
the one
all
that does
about
the
it.
countdown.
Yes, he was the one at the very top who did the countdown, and he was all excited about his hometown there, Cincinnati, getting back to the Super Bowl.
It's always exciting. I mean, football's always a great time.
Real quick, Alicia,
Okay.
I had looked through, or asked people on Facebook if they're excited about this game here. Some people are saying, it's here and there, but Jesse Ramon says, our kids in the Super Bowl got to represent our city, San Antonio, Texas. So pretty cool stuff there from Jesse.
We had one person, Perla, she asked in Spanish about, I believe it was about the N95 maps. So that's a big thing. It started the rollout was kind of late. We were told last week, and there wasn't any official information of how that rollout for those free N95 was going to look like, where exactly it was going to be. But CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, H-E-B, Costco, those are the pharmacies, the bigger pharmacies that you want to look out for. They're handing out those free N95 masks, and you get 3 per person.
Yeah, so that is all great information. That is all on KSAT.com. That's where you can find it. Okay, we're going to wrap things up for Monday's KSAT News Now. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and thank you very much for being with us this morning.
We'll see you tomorrow right here at 11 a.m. Have a good day.